Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. How's the sound in the back? Can everyone hear me? All righty. Will, back there, you can hear me, right? Thank you all for being here at our annual Friendship Place Friends and Neighbors Breakfast. You are the friends and the neighbors that make our work possible. So please, everyone, give yourself a round of applause for being here. I'm Chris Rutledge. I'm Vice President of External Affairs here at Friendship Place, and it is my honor to invite you to welcome you here to our 22nd annual Friends and Neighbors Breakfast. Thank you again for being here. And each and every one of you makes a difference every day in the work that we do. And again, I can't thank you enough, and the people we serve can't thank you enough for what we do. But there are a couple of people I want to make sure we call out, particularly here today, who have been community leaders and supporters of our work in the past. Matt Fruman is, I forget where we have you. Matt, where is Councilmember Fruman? There you are. Thank you. You're over there. Later on, I believe Council Chair Phil Mendelson will be here as well, but so we can thank him in advance for being here. But we know you're all here today because you care deeply about the issue of homelessness in the DC community, and it's really an honor to do this work on your behalf. As you may have heard me say many times before, we who work in this field are very fortunate. We get to go to work every day and make a difference in the lives of thousands of people, 5,443 people last fiscal year. Everyone calls me on that, make sure I get that number specifically. We do that with the support and the help of a caring community. We can't do this without your help. We can't do this without your work and support in doing this. And we want to thank you by giving you an amazing program this morning. You're going to hear from some of the folks who we serve every day and in whose life we've made a difference. You're going to hear from some of our staff. And you're going to hear from President and CEO Jean-Michel Giraud, who's going to tell us how we tend to grow our work and innovate our work over the next 5-10 years. We're coming up on our 35th anniversary of this organization, and it's just amazing to see how we've grown from a group of friends, people in the community who knew that there was help that was needed and got together and bought a van and would drive up and down and bring support to people along Wisconsin Avenue. That same group of people bought the Welcome Center and and turned that into a drop-in center, knowing that they can make a difference on a daily basis in people's lives. And from that, it's just grown and grown and grown into the organization you're supporters of today. So thank you. I also want to take a moment to recognize Washington Hebrew congregation. You really work to make sure we have a safe and comfortable place to be every year. Mohan Mystery, I don't know if you're in the room, but if you can hear me from out in the hallway, Mohan and his team makes sure this place is set up wonderfully every year for us. And it shows. It shows in the care and the passion and in the compassion that they present to us that allows us to then present it to the members of the community we serve. I also want to thank Steve Lamb, who's our representative from Washington Hebrew Congregation on our congregation committee, for bringing people here and for also helping to facilitate this every year. So thank you. Yes, please give a round of applause there. There are some key folks I also wish. Steve just walked in after I thanked him. Steve, we just gave you a round of applause. Another round for Steve. We can't let you go by without being acknowledged, Steve. Thank you. I also want to thank some key people who have driven the work of this organization. So first, can I hear from all of our board members, past and present? Please stand up if you're a board member or have been a board member. Now stand up, stand up. Some of you date back to our founding. I mean, it's always impressive to me when I look and see people who have been our friends and people who show up on lists of people who cared about this work back in 1991 and people who are in this room today. And that's just phenomenal to me that this is an organization that has built that network and that sense of love that people will stick with us for a third of a century, more than that, to make a difference in people's lives. Can I also hear from any volunteers? Our volunteers who helped today. I see folks in the back there and other. Can you wave, or if you volunteered for us in the past, stand up and wave. There you go. Thank you, thank you. current and former staff. Please stand and wave if you've worked for us or still work for us. Thank you. Particularly, I want to thank our external affairs team. We've got Chris, Kathy, Alan back there. Sheila, Yimka, and Julianne couldn't be there. Who am I? Charisse is over there somewhere. I can't see over there. You're all over there. Who am I missing? I've got Chris, Kathy, Alan, Charisse. Lynn Amano's right over there. So you were separate. Sorry, I didn't see you over there. I'm looking in that direction. I also want to thank all of you who are table hosts today because you brought friends here. This is an organization that if we're going to continue to grow, we need people bringing friends to this work. So thank you. And this is my also opportunity to remind you, if you are a table host, at the conclusion of the program, your task is to find that yellow envelope in the middle of your table, gather together people's donations, and then find either Chris Kerner or myself, and we will collect those from you. So please thank you for being responsible for that. And then lastly, I want to thank our program participants. We have a couple of speakers and other people who've received services from Friendship Place in the past. Can you wave if you feel comfortable? Just let us know you're in the room, and to thank let us thank you for being a part of your lives. Thank you over there. So now I would like to take a few moments for us to hear from Cantor Susan Bortnick of Washington Hebrew Congregation, who will provide a welcome for us today. Cantor. There you are.
Good morning. Welcome to Washington Hebrew Congregation. As you heard, I'm Cantor Susan Bortnick, and it is a privilege for us to once again host your annual Friends and Neighbors Breakfast. So as you begin this morning together, I would like to offer this blessing of companionship and belonging. We have a prayer that reads, Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad, which is basically how beautiful, how good it is for us to come together and dwell traditionally in friendship. Originally it's males, but we have now included everyone, gender. So I offer this blessing for you.
Open your eyes.
Welcome. Please enjoy your morning.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. What a wonderful way to start us off here. Next, we want to hear from Reverend Dr. Hilary Raining of St. Columba's. St. Columba's is a longtime friend of ours. I mentioned before that we were founded amongst community members. A large part of that work were the congregations that make up our congregations committee. I've called out one or two of you already, but folks who are members of our congregation committee, including our Vice Chair Debbie over there, can you wave so people know who you are? Please, everyone there. You bring volunteers, you bring supporters, you bring friends, you bring energy into our work. And like I said, you helped start us off all those years ago. And so please accept the gratitude of everyone in this room for helping to be really the launching pad of Friendship Place. You've made this a difference, so thank you. Reverend Dr. Raining is going to come and talk a little bit about how we make a difference through their work and to offer us a welcoming greeting and prayer as well. So please, Reverend Dr. Raining.
Good morning, friends. I am honored and blessed to be with you all here. Can I see a show of hands again of the congregational partners in the room that we just saw? Yeah, friends, pause for a moment. Look how many hands those are. Thank you. Those hands represent so much more than just partners in work. It's also partners in spirit. People who are looking at this moment, the state of the world that we're in, and trying to find a way to meet it with love, with grace, with peace, and with a sense of friendship that extends to neighbor. In the tradition I serve in the Episcopal Christian tradition, that word neighbor is a particularly important one for us. We hear it from Jesus, who tells us that we must look at one another, everyone, as neighbors and love them. That's hard to do in times such as these. But what I find inspiration in a place like Friendship Place and the work that we can do together across denominations, religions, and differences is the deep rootedness of seeing everyone as a neighbor, to love, respect, to honor. In a time when institutions are being challenged, it's important that we remember these sorts of institutions that are founded on just that sort of a spirit. I'm very new to St. Columba's. I've only been here for 6 months, which is hard to believe when you've been going as fast as we have. Isn't that true, St. Columba's friends? It's amazing. And what I'm finding is it's a time for me to learn about the foundations of things, of institutions, in particular the one I'm serving at. And yes, I do mean foundations of, like, let's say the building, when you have to go down in the basement and check out what's there, sure, that kind of foundation. But the foundation of people who dreamt of a place that would carry on that legacy of love beyond them, beyond any one individual. That's what we're here to do today, to remember the legacy that goes beyond any one individual to help those who truly are our neighbors. With that in mind, I'd love to offer a prayer attributed in our tradition to St. Francis, but you'll hear that it stretches beyond any one religion or denomination to asking ourselves, how do we do that legacy work, build it on a foundation of peace? If you are comfortable, let us pray. God, make us instruments of your peace. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is discord, union. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Grant that we may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in giving of ourselves that we are born to eternal life. Amen. Amen. Thank you all for your work.
I promised earlier that you'll hear from a couple of our participants, and I just wanted to take a moment to say why this is important. It drives home the point that what we're doing here today is making a difference in lives. And I know that I'm inspired every day when I do talk to some of the people who are part of our work, who we get to be a part of their lives, who've allowed us into their lives. And that is a sacred trust, right? That you're offering people the opportunity to help them to get where they want to be. Not to lead, not to tell people where to go, but to work standing side by side as people go along here. And whenever I do hear people who are in our networks speak, I know I'm personally moved, and it's my honor to introduce you to two of them today as we talk. The first up is Michael Brown from La Casa, and he has a very powerful story to tell, and it's one of gratitude and appreciation, and really about how this mission of this organization just makes a difference every day. Michael, if you would come on up, thank you.
Well, good morning. My name is Michael Brown, and I am a resident of La Costa. La Costa has given me the opportunity to find a place to call home. And part of the thing that I'm reflecting on what I'm trying to accomplish is give back to La Costa and other places of this magnitude a purpose in service. And the way that I try to give back in service is I help start a garden for people to have vegetables and other things to healthfully sustain themselves through the month. And through this, I want to thank y'all for giving me a place where I could find and use the resources to further my life. And no better way to further your life is put your life in service of other people. And with being able to do that, I found that I made friends and talked to other people in the same predicament that I was in and find a light to further take me in life. So with that, I would like to thank you very much for giving me that opportunity to pursue the dreams that I hope to do and share. Thank you.
I love what Michael just said about giving back in service, and I think that's so important. So many of us are so fortunate. We have so much, we're so privileged, and the fact that we have the opportunity through mornings like this to give back to the world, to give back to the community, to give back to people who might need some assistance or a hand, it's a great opportunity for all of us. So thank you for joining us and being a part of that. Now I get to have the honor of introducing Jean-Michel Giraud, who's our president and CEO. I've gotten to work alongside of him for coming up on 9 years, but that's not the important number. Next month marks 20 years that Jean-Michel has run Friendship Place. More to come about that over the next couple of weeks and months, I think, as we talk and celebrate him on this. And he's shy about this, so I don't want to embarrass him too much here. But think about the difference that this organization was 20 years ago. We're 15 years old. We're serving I don't know how many, but nowhere near as many people as we do today. And it's through Jean-Michel's vision, leadership, enthusiasm, compassion, and passion for this work that drives all of us every day. 180, how many staff do we have now? 191. 100, I say I can't even keep up. I know when I started here, we were about 80 people, and just in the last 9 years, we've gone up to about 190, 191. And just know that that is a hallmark of your work and what you've done in this community, and you've made such a difference. So, please, first of all, join me in thanking Jean-Michel, and then join me in welcoming him. A round of applause, please.
Good morning, everybody. I'm thrilled to see so many of you in the room today, coming out to help us the old friends, and then the new friends I see in the room as well. And I want to extend a very special thank you to all of you who already support our mission through your gifts. And I do want to recognize our founders who keep supporting us 35 years into it. We have George, Jim, Don, and Ann in the room. You know who you are. Please wave so we can see you if you like. All right. Thank you. And Dick Schleicher. It's really a very special organization, I think, that has so many people supporting it so many years into it. Homelessness is an ever-changing phenomenon, and at Friendship Place, we follow the trends very closely so we can make the right investments to keep our programming effective and cost-effective. And this phenomenon concerns us all, from the people on the street to the people who are doing well but feel the inherent unfairness of an economic system that somehow leaves some neighbors without housing, jobs, medical care, or even proper nutrition. And this gnawing feeling drives us to act at Friendship Place to develop service models that represent solutions to homelessness. Friendship Place is about programming that works. We have a long track record of partnering with public funders to bring their models to excellence and of developing our own models, an incredibly effective street outreach model here in Upper Northwest, a shared housing model that has helped hundreds of people find a place to live, find a family of choice after the hardship of homelessness. Before 30, a youth-centric case management model that helps young people reach self-sufficiency on their own terms. And Job First, a job placement model based on people's strengths that assumes employability, builds self-confidence, and expedites job placement. A model so relational that a participant can reactivate services at any time without cumbersome red tape if the person needs help keeping a job or finding a new one. The help is immediate. And most of this work, the great majority of it, is done with private funds. Private funds also help us stop an eviction, somebody calling with an eviction that day or a week from today. We are able to help them with the private funds that we raise with events like today. At Friendship Place, we don't leave anybody behind. And once you're a member of our community, our promise to serve you makes for a very deep commitment. This year, we are growing our veteran services, adding 6 counties from Annapolis to the West Virginia border. We're delighted to be doing this. Thank you. We are welcoming single adults and families into housing with 2 new partnerships with affordable housing complexes. And we are promoting a new visionary direct cash transfer program for young people. We are innovating with this model. We are pairing up job placement with case management as a goal for the young people. A pilot we ran last summer and fall has proven very successful. The program accelerates the young people's progress over the span of a single year, with the guaranteed income taking the pressure off and allowing the young participants to reach other goals and stability within just 1 year. Thank you. You know, all this is about doing better for people, doing more. I started in the field during deinstitutionalization, meeting people who had faced hardship in the institutions. And my commitment to the field has always rested on a feeling of responsibility, the responsibility to do better for people participating in programming, even when you have to speak up and you're not so popular. All of us in the field have to find the courage to break the molds and make change happen. And at Friendship Place, this is precisely what we do. And to me, this is really powerful. Amen. Thank you. This year, Friendship Place is also launching a new strategic plan that will drive our development over the next 5 years. The plan is careful, given the circumstances, but it's also visionary at the same time, and it signifies our strong will to keep doing more for the people we serve and to move the field of homeless services forward. I invite you to read the plan. It's under your donation form, and to see your part in it as our partners, because we are stronger together, and together we can do great things. Amen. Together, we can end homelessness by building systems strong enough to catch everybody on time, avoiding the long, drawn-out downward spiral of homelessness. And we can do it together. I want to thank our speakers today for sharing their stories so generously. We are all touched by what they tell us, by the courage they have shown to rebuild their lives, by the fact that the door opened wide when they found Friendship Place, and that the help they received was offered with kindness and dignity, honoring them as people. And some of us, like me, have people in our lives who have experienced homelessness. We know how it feels to have a loved one on the street, to go through the steps, the long steps sometimes, to rebuild. And when it is finally over, another feeling develops in a family member. How do I make sure that this never happens to him again, the brother who helped raise me? Our mission means so much to me because that is what we do. We help people go through the steps. We put out all our strength and resources to allow people to solve their homelessness. And we don't give up. We keep at it. We keep helping as long as it takes to make sure people are safe. Again, to all the friends who already help us, thank you so much. To the new people in the room, please join us, please help us. We need your support. Be well, everybody. Thank you so much.
That's 20 years of caring right there. So thank you. Thank you, Jean-Michel, for sharing. Our next speaker is Shella Young of our Aim Higher program. And what's nice about Aim Higher and the idea of employment is that it is, a job is hope, right? A job is a hope for the future, that your life will change, your life will evolve, and the Aim Higher team does that every day. Helps bring hope to people and help to expand what it is people can do and what their lives can be. Shella has served our country, I am correct in that. And so it's great that we have that opportunity to be of service to her and to work with her, and that she in turn continues to offer this service to us by speaking here tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to give the floor to Shella Young. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Shella Young. I want to share something personal that speaks to why the work being done here matters so much. I would like to start with my background first. Military runs deep in my family. I got two grandfathers that served in World War II, including one that was in the Filipino Army. My father did 26 years, including Vietnam and the Gulf War. I served in 8 years in the Navy in the weather field with the Iraq War. And now my daughter joined the Air Force. She's been in for 1 year. So where this all started for me, I lost employment before COVID. So trying to navigate employment during COVID was it was hard. So I had employment, but it was not consistent. 2025, I got hired as a manager for a security company. And at the same time, I lost my home. So 2 weeks after I started my job, I was homeless and got a call from Darren Walls, who works for Friendship Place. He asked me to come in and do paperwork. And at this particular day I was struggling. Traffic was bad. It was like the end of the day. He's like, come in, do the work, paperwork, and let's get you started. And I wanted to reschedule so bad, but I listened to him and I came in anyway, and I did the paperwork. It was the best decision I made. It opened up services I never knew existed. And I was able to connect with Saginaw Falls. I secured new housing and ended up taking a full-time position as a recruiter. Did security part-time, and 2025 started no job, and by the end of the year I worked for like 3 different companies. So it was great, and they kept me on track. Saginaw Falls, kept me, with the monthly meetups, she kept me on track, definitely. So that was that, and let me see, I was able to, okay. So to the staff that show up every day, supporters, shareholders, who believe in the mission, and the community that stands by it, thank you so much for your support. I couldn't have got this far without you, so I appreciate all the work you guys do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sheila. First and foremost, I would like to say good morning. And Sheila and many of our other speakers are a prime example of what happens when life happens. I was late this morning because there was a measly nail in my tire, and I needed to stop and get that fixed because I would not make it here to be with you all today. My name is David Dirks. I'm the chair of the board of directors for Friendship Place, and originally was serving to be your master of ceremonies this morning. But nonetheless, we're going to keep this program going because I know you all were here on time. And our next speaker is just a powerhouse speaker. She is an amazing member of our staff at Friendship Place. Her name is Lestina Kennedy, and she is one of our members of our celebrated Veterans First program. So Lestina.
Good morning. My name is Lestina Kennedy, and I'm a case manager in the Veterans First Division. What's up? Where we go. I first want to give honor to God. I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your day to be here. The generous donors that are here today, I want to say thank you. I have to say thank you. Because of what you do and how you give, it allows every staff member at Friendship Place to do what we do. We change lives. Sit with that for a minute. Your generous donations change lives. My family and I, we have lived experience. We've experienced homelessness twice. And I didn't understand what was going on because God had to clue me in. 2 years later, he did. I'm sitting at my dining room table and I'm doing my work, and he said to me, the reason why you had to go through this is so you can do this. So when I do an intake with a veteran, I let them know I've lived experience. I know exactly what it's like. My family and I moved 8 times in 8 months. There were mornings that my children didn't know where they was going to sleep, and neither did I. But the one thing I told them is to look to me. If I trip, you trip. If I don't trip, you don't trip. God used that experience for me to be able to sit across from my veterans to let them know that where you are right now in life, it's a comma. It's not a period. This is not the end. It's an opportunity, if you participate, to change the trajectory of your life. Because of your generous donations, I'm specifically saying veterans first because that's where I work, we're able to provide permanent housing for some veterans who may not have ever had an apartment in their name. On move-in day, I take them shopping. I usually go to Super Walmart because there you can get food and you can get whatever else you need. At the end of the day, I take them back to their apartment or their efficiency, help them move all their things in. When they close the door and lock it, think about that. They close the door and they lock it. You can't do that if you're sleeping outside. But they close the door and they lock it and they're home. Because of what I do, it comes from when we were homeless. When I was in the kitchen cooking food and the smell is going throughout the house, my children knew that the temporariness of that season was done. Because of your generous donations, we together, like our brave president said, you and I, together, we can get the job done. So I want to say thank you to all of you. To God be the glory for all that you do. God bless you.
I told you all, after that we can just, go to writing our checks and bidding everyone adieu, but no, we're not quite done. But Listina and so many staff at Friendship Place have similar stories of lived experience, the passion it takes to do this work. And she said it. I'll say it again. We can't do this work without your generous donations. And we thank her and we thank the rest of our staff as well. So now that you've heard from those we serve and the leaders who make a difference in the lives of thousands of people, I would like to introduce you to our next speaker, Chris Carner, and our Director of Lead Gifts, and Alan Banks, our Community Engagement Associate. But before that, you've heard him this morning because he filled in for me. Thank you very much, Chris Rutledge. Chris Rutledge is going to come to the stage first and do a quick presentation.
Thank you. So we're in the midst of a couple of milestones here at Friendship Place. I mentioned before Jean-Michel's anniversary. Chris Kerner, who helps pull this all together, bring all of you in this room together here, is retiring in about 2 weeks after 7 years at 7, 8 years, a long time at Friendship Place, and a career in fundraising of over 30 years, working politically, nonprofit sector, just making a difference day to day in many people's lives. And Chris, we couldn't get all of this done without you. Please come on up and accept an award. And could everyone just give me a standing ovation for Chris? You're very welcome. I got the box for you. Here you go.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, wait, look at Felix over there. Thank you. And is Alan going before you? Oh, you're first.
Okay.
That was pretty cool. Good morning, everyone. The faces that I know and the new faces, especially the new faces. And I want to say a special hello, good morning to our team members who showed up. That's a really big deal for us. My name is Alan. If you call me Mr. Banks, please don't, because something will fall off. So we won't do that. I want to, it's hard to follow Lestina, so I'm kind of blown out of the water. First thing I want to do is to tell you thank you from my heart and from our hearts at Friendship Place. We are an organization who has helped thousands of people. And in 1991, when Friendship Place first came together, they had no idea that the organization was going to grow to where we were helping over 5,000 people a year. They had no idea, but they did it anyway. They had no idea that in 2010, they would help me, because I'm one of the people in America, one of too many people in America who has experienced homelessness. Friendship Place not only changed my life, they saved my life. Because I was in a bad place at the time when I first came here. One of the first things they did was reinstill my sense of self-worth. You know, it sounds simple, but they gave me the keys to the office. You heard me mention, you heard Chris, you heard Jean-Michel speak of all the things we do. And it doesn't just happen. It takes money. I hate saying that word like that, but it takes money. For all that Friendship Place does, we couldn't do it without you. Your generous donations, both in financial and in kind, help us do what we do. So many times people will say, thank you for what you did. And I always tell them that we are just a conduit. If we didn't have your support, we would not be able to do a single thing. I want to thank you for putting up with me talking for a few minutes, and thank you all for being here this morning.
Well, they gave me a microphone for my last breakfast, so how long do I have? No, Alan taught me so much. I thought I understood when I came to Friendship Place, but Alan taught me about experiencing homelessness, and that, as Lestina said, it is a comma. And what a wonderful sentence, Lestina. It's a comma, not a period, because our outreach team is so amazing. All the executive team, to the receptionist, to everyone who works at Friendship Place, it inspired me every single day to get up and work harder, because I knew they were out there talking to our participants. And honestly, it's all of our participants and all of you who get the standing ovation, because I can't top Lestina. So, but I want to thank Jean-Michel and Chris for this amazing award. I had no idea. And it's hard to keep a surprise from me, as my family knows. And our external affairs team. And they're all amazing. And Kathy and Chris Canaday are back there, and Alan, of course, and Julianne and Yimka, who can't be here today, and Sheila, who got stuck in those terrible closures of airports and things. And Lynn Amano, who is advocacy, and Charisse, who's still outside making sure everything's fine, and also doing corporate fundraising. Everybody's amazing. And Kathy actually keeps me sane. She sends me little texts at night saying, it's okay. Tomorrow's another day. But I really want to say, as everyone has said before, but I was looking at our list of accomplishments as I was sitting down. And, street outreach and youth and the Welcome Center and jobs. Where's Richard? I mean, Richard is over here. And, jobs sometimes doesn't get its due because everything else is housing. But without a job, I mean, they just do amazing work at Aim Higher. the words I think of at Friendship Place when I was thinking of this today were about the staff and about the table hosts, current and former, dedicated, resourceful, thoughtful, and creative. And I know in our team, we sometimes have to go, okay, how are we going to do this again? So, you know, it takes all of that, and it takes that for the table hosts, year in and year out. You all inviting your friends, and you guests getting up this early. You must really like these people. I was trying to think of next year. Someone said, do you want to be a table host? And I said, I don't know if I have 7 friends. Maybe my daughter would come if I asked nicely. So congratulations to the table hosts and to the guests. And will the table hosts please stand, current and former table hosts. Wow. You all are amazing. Well, I just want to say 2 more things. One is when I first came to Friendship Place, Chris was explaining the breakfast to me, and he said, well, it's free. And I said, so I was brand new, it's a career in fundraising, I thought they want me to fix it, right? John Michelle depends on this revenue, and it's free? Like, how does that even, it really, truly didn't compute, and I thought, they're hoping for the best. I'm like, I have anxiety issues. I'm not a hope for the best girl. So, but what I've learned after 7 years is that you all are the best. Amen. And you provide hope to everyone. And I was the one who learned something because you all are just amazing. I mean, year in and year out, this room is full. It's still full. Before COVID, after COVID, oh my God. I can't believe it was 6 years ago. But I wanted to tell you that. And I also wanted to say that we have a $100,000 match this year. And so whatever you're able to do today will be matched. So, I mean, if you want to give more than 100, Chris is right here in the corner, you know. But but anything you can do today will be matched, and it'll be great. We have this sheet right here that's on your chairs, or it might be on, I guess you had to sit down, it might be on the table. So if you can fill that out, there's also a QR code at the table. And if you can be as generous as you can, we will appreciate it. And somebody's going to invite me to come sit at their table next year. So maybe we'll bid on that. So anyway, be as generous as you can, and we'll see you at the walk on the 25th because they've already gotten me to volunteer. So.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the time of the program. But again, as you can see, we have a wonderful community here at Friendship Place, obviously from our staff to the folks that we serve, our board, and you all. The program is not quite finished yet. And before I'm finished, I believe we weren't able to give a formal welcome to DC Council Chair, Mr. Phil Mendelson. So please join me in welcoming him this morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. But on behalf of the executive team and staff at Friendship Place, we want to thank you for attending this morning. We have more to discuss at your table with your phenomenal table hosts, and we want you to hear how your support can impact thousands of lives right now. And in case you haven't heard it enough today, please give, and please give generously, and we thank you for that. You're done. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your morning, and thank you very much for coming to our 2026 breakfast.